Somebody has, I think. Yeah, Gregory did it, and we're all set. That's what I told Gregory. I said, someone said they would do it. Tell her, but talk to him. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I invite you to take a moment to enter into a space of rest, meditation, and quiet contemplation as we enter this service with the ringing of the gong and listening to the prelude. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Olympia Brown Unitarian Universalist Church. Is that not right? Okay. Welcome to everyone here in person and everyone joining us on YouTube, both now and in the future. I am Andrea Bumpers. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Our welcome words are from Alex Riley. It is good to be together. Together in this co-created sacred space where all are welcome. How you experience or express gender is welcome here. Who or how you love is welcome here. Where you are from and where you are in your journey is welcome here. Whether you come full of energy or find yourself running on empty, you are welcome here. You are part of a beloved community that is sacred because each of us is sacred. Each of us is always held in a larger love. It is good to be together.
Right, and who's our cellist later today? Delilah. Please come and light our Easter chalice for us.
Don't let the light go out.
We light this chalice for the sacred that walks unshod through alleyways, that leans against brick walls with smoke on its breath, that hums in neon flicker and bus exhaust. This flame burns for the holiness found in dirty hands, in cracked voices, in those moments of sudden stillness between sirens and footsteps. Not every sanctuary has walls. Some are made of shadow and asphalt. Some are stitched together from longing, kindness, and sheer survival. We light this flame to remember divinity does not always wear white. Sometimes it wears denim. Sometimes it looks like a stranger holding the door just a moment longer. It burns to show us what is real. And so please now rise in body or in spirit and join in singing hymn number 88, Calm Soul of All Things. Alejandro will play it through once.
For the message for all ages. So if all the children and those young at heart can come on forward. Let's see, any more kids coming up? Just Delilah and, oh, here comes Kaylin. So I have with me today a dozen of, these are called resurrection eggs. And this is what Christian families often use. I know I'm sitting down. This is what Christian families often use to tell the story of Easter, which is today. There are 12 eggs. Each egg is a different color and it has something inside of it. And I'm going to give the eggs to you three, and you get to open them up as we're going through. We're going to start with egg number 1, so I'm going to give these to you all. I'm going to keep number 12. So Kaylin, if you want to come over, slide on over. Pick out some eggs, pick out eggs. I'm keeping number 12, the white egg. All right, the first egg is the blue egg. Who has the blue egg? Delilah, so open it up. What's inside? There's 12, it's a dozen. Well, we're going to go through all of them, so however you guys want to figure it out. So what's inside of it, Delilah? It's a donkey. So inside the egg is a donkey because on Passover, which would have been last Sunday, Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. And now his followers actually wanted him to ride in on a horse because a horse means war and leadership. But Jesus said, no, I'm riding on a donkey because it means peace. So that's why he rode a donkey into the city. Who has the purple egg? Number 2. Kaylin, what's inside? There are silver coins inside. And the reason there are silver coins in this egg is because, unfortunately, not everybody liked Jesus very much. And there were some important, powerful leaders that were jealous of him and didn't like that he was really, really popular. So they decided that they wanted to kill him. And so in order to capture him, they gave silver to one of his friends named Judas. And then Judas told these powerful people where Jesus was so that they could trap Jesus in the middle of the night. The third egg is the pink egg. Who has the pink egg? Kaylin again. What's inside? A goblet. So this is a Passover cup. So while Jesus in his... Oh, I didn't go... Sorry, Cody. While Jesus and his followers were celebrating Passover together, they had special wine. And when Jesus poured the wine into his followers' cup, he asked them to remember him always. And still today, Christian people all over the world have a tradition called communion, where the church leader passes out bread and wine or grape juice to remember Jesus' final Passover supper. Okay, egg 4 is the orange egg. I think Cody has that one. What's inside? Praying hands. So on the evening of Passover, during the Passover supper, Jesus and his followers went into a grove of trees to camp out for the night, and Jesus wanted them to all pray together. And sadly, when they went to sleep, the soldiers came and arrested Jesus. Green egg, number 5, Delilah. It's a leather whip, like the one used by the soldiers to whip Jesus after they arrested him. Even though Jesus didn't try to fight against the soldiers who arrested him, they cruelly beat him. Egg 6 is the yellow egg. It's a rooster. So in the story, when Jesus was in his garden praying, one of his best friends, Peter, said to Jesus, "I'll remember you always." And Jesus said, "Well, actually, before the cock crows twice in the morning, you're going to tell people that you don't know who I am 3 times." And then the soldiers came and took Jesus, and all his friends got really scared and thought they might be the next ones to be beaten and killed. So all of a sudden, Peter was walking around, and someone asked him, "Did you know that man, Jesus, that the soldiers took?" And he said, "No," because he was scared. And he did that 3 times before the rooster crowed. Next one, the orange egg, number 7. Who's got that one? Cody, what's inside? A crown of thorns. It's a crown that's sharp and prickly, and after the soldiers beat Jesus, they put the crown on his head, continued to tease him, call him names, spit on him, and they forced him to follow them and go with them, even though they were beating him. And there were even a lot of the people that had followed him before no longer even liked him anymore. 8, the green egg. Who's got the green egg? Number 8. Kind of yellow.
It's greenish yellow.
Yeah, greenish yellow. So that is a cross. Those are nails in the shape of a cross. And the cross is a really, really important symbol for Christian people. And using nails bigger than that, Jesus was nailed to a rough wooden cross. You know about that? Yeah, there's a cross up there. You're right. Because it's really important to Christian people. And they nailed him to a cross, and he died hours later. Next color, the light blue egg. What's inside? Number 10, blue. Do you have it, Delilah? Number 10. Oh, 9, you're right, the purple egg. Good thing Cody's paying attention here. 9 inside is a soldier's spear. So after it seemed that Jesus had died on the cross, the soldiers stabbed the side of his body to make sure he was dead. Now 10, the light blue egg. Inside the light blue egg is a linen cloth, because Jewish people would wrap up the dead bodies in linen, and so after Jesus died, they wrapped him up in linen, and then there was a wealthy man named Joseph of Arimathea, who let them have a burial tomb that Jesus could be buried in. Number 11, the pink egg. It's a rock. Because there was this stone represents the enormous rock that was rolled by many men to cover the entrance to Jesus' tomb. And the rock was bigger than a door, heavier than a car, and soldiers were told to guard the tomb day and night. Now I have the white egg, number 12, and inside it's empty. Because the story is that days later, when two of the women, Mary and Mary Magdalene, came to the tomb, they rolled the rock and it was empty. And in the story, an angel told Mary and Mary that Jesus had risen from the dead and he was alive again. Mary and Mary. Mary was a very popular name during that time. There were lots of Marys. So now, a lot of Unitarian Christians still believe this today, that Jesus rose from the dead. And I would say a lot of Unitarian Universalists don't believe that that's historically accurate. But we can still learn a lot from other religions. So one of our values is pluralism, that talks about learning from other religions. And we can still learn that even though maybe this story isn't historically accurate, it still talks about new life and how you can love someone after they've died even 2,000 years later.
So what are we gonna do?
So now it's time for the children's blessing. That's We are blessed. We are blessed by being. We are blessed by being here. We are blessed by being here together. Yeah, just bring it. Bring it with you. Bring it with you.
Part of being in community is sharing our joys and sorrows with one another. We draw strength from celebrating the joys in each other's lives and lending support, comfort, and care when we experience one of life's many sorrows. We offer you two ways to express the joys and sorrows that may be on your heart this morning, spoken and unspoken. If you would like to share a spoken joy or sorrow, I'll ask you to come forward to the microphone first, or you may raise your hand and a microphone will be brought to you. Once the spoken joys and sorrows are finished, you may come forward and light a candle to represent the unspoken joy or sorrow on your heart. Please remember that our service is being streamed online. So please be sure that any spoken joy or sorrow is one you are comfortable sharing with a wider community than just inside these walls this morning. Those of you who would like to share spoken joys or sorrows may come forward at this time.
Carolyn Churchill, she, hers. I donated some flowers today in memory of the Bob and Sue Nemenick family. In the 1990s, they were members of our church, and they this January lost their daughter Sue to complications from transplant surgery, and I grieve with them.
For those if you don't know me, I'm Don. You remember, I have both a joy and a sorrow. This past week, I just found out I just got a job after 2 years and about 3 months. So it feels good to be working again. And the sorrow is that I woke up 2 days ago and found out that my water heater broke down. So I'm without hot water. So. Thank you.
My sorrow is that I got all the way through doing my taxes online, and I can't find my adjusted cost rate thing from last year. And And my delight will be when I can find it.
I'm Rachel Chobon. I wasn't going to say anything this morning, but it's been a long time since I've seen my remaining brother. I had 3 brothers originally, and he's my next younger brother. His name is Benton, and he really is the namesake of Benton Mackay, who was the founder of the Appalachian Trail. And I've hinted to Ben numbers of times, please come hiking with me on the Appalachian Trail, and he just blows me off. So tomorrow morning early, I'm going to get on a plane and go down to New Mexico and visit him and also attend a Rhodes Scholar program.
Now, if you would like to light a candle for an unspoken joy or sorrow, you may come forward at this time. We light one final candle for the joys and sorrows that are on the hearts of our beloveds joining us online. There is a love holding us always. May we rest in that love. Amen and blessed be. All are invited to join in singing, There is a Love. The words are in the order of service.
keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Ain't got time. 'Cause when I'm healing the sick, when I'm healing the sick, when I'm healing the sick, 'cause it takes all of my time, all of my time. Glory and honor, glory and honor. Lord, I keep so busy working for the kingdom. Keep so busy working for the kingdom. Keep so busy working for the kingdom. Ain't got time. 'Cause when I'm feeding the poor, when I'm feeding the poor, when I'm feeding the poor, 'cause it takes all of my time, all of my time. Glory and honor, glory and honor. Lord, I keep so busy serving my master. Keep so busy serving my master. Keep so busy serving my master. Ain't got time. 'Cause when I'm giving my all, when I'm giving my all, when I'm giving my all, 'cause it takes all of my time, all of my time. Now won't you get out my way, get out my way. Glory and honor, ain't got time to die.
I'm used to being usually the only beauty queen here, but welcome, Willow. My name is Patty Fitchett. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the director of community worship at Bradford Community Church, UU, your sibling congregation down the street. Our reading today is from my buddy, the Reverend Kimberly Debus. She had a 6-week Lenten series of columns that she was writing. She writes a Substack called Hold My Chalice. And she says, here at Hold My Chalice, we're a motley bunch from a variety of religious faiths. But there's something quite lovely about a season where we consider what no longer serves us and how we might prepare ourselves for what's next. So this Lenten season, we're considering 7 things that we do or believe in our congregations that no longer serve us, and maybe we can give them up. And her topic this week was worshiping intellectualism. She says, oh, friends, we do love ideas, don't we? We on the liberal side of religion love to know things, explore things, debate things. We rightly believe science, admire great thinkers, engage in good literature and art. Some of us are educators, some of us are well educated, and some of us believe that what is most important in a worship service is that it makes us think. Well, yes, I would say that we all do want you to think, And we want you to consider ideas, meaning, and ways of being beyond the sacred hour that we spend together. And that sacred hour is not a lecture, not a debate, and certainly not a TED Talk. Sure, many services include some teaching. In fact, the Presbyterians call their preachers teaching elders because there is a way in which we who grace your pulpits are using some of this time to teach about our faith and how to make it relevant in your lives. And yes, some services can be a bit more teach than others. She says, right now at the congregation that I serve, I'm spending time this spring preaching about Unitarian Universalism's foundational theologies. So there's some teaching of the history and context, as well as the tenets of the theology. But these services aren't lectures. They're also a time to be spiritual beings together, nourishing our spirits together, considering our personal beliefs and our calls to our work in the world together. Worship is about something more. It is spiritual growth. And as I have learned, it is connected to emotional growth. In fact, spiritual experience is an emotional experience. And it's that emotional intelligence that gets bypassed in favor of the lecture full of citations and quotations. Good worship leaders long to give you the tools you need to enter a time out of time, a space unlike any other, where just for 1 hour out of 168, you can let go of the busyness of life and constantly being a human doing and rest in simply being the gorgeous human being that you are. And I'd say, of course, you know this, except when I look at congregational surveys and ministerial search records, you all say that you want intellectual sermons. Do you, though? Because you keep calling ministers who are bringing a spiritual experience, joy, inspiration, solace, comfort, healing, energy. They make you happy and you sign contracts with them. And then you say their sermons aren't intellectual enough. What? Those preachers and service leaders are trying to feed your intelligence. But it's not just book smarts, it's emotional intelligence. It's spiritual intelligence. You want book learning? Subscribe to great courses, or take a class, or spend your days in the library. All very worthy activities. You want more grounded, holistic intelligence? Let go of your need for worship to be a lecture and be present to what is offered to help you grow. Imagine how much more meaningful that sacred hour will be if you do.
There are many ways that we give to the life of this church, and the monetary offering is just one of those ways. Each month we partner with a local organization and share the money we collect. Our partner for April is the Racine Urban Garden Network. Donna Delmar is here to tell us about this organization. Welcome, Donna.
Excuse my notes. I often forget what I have to say. Thank you very much. And
You're a little taller.
I'm a little tall, yeah.
Than Andrea.
Well, good morning and happy Easter. Thank you for making us the recipient of the Olympia Brown Offertory for April. Let me tell you a little bit about Rugen, or Racine Urban Garden Network, which we call Rugen. We're an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have an 8-person board that oversees 9 community gardens throughout the city, most of them being located in USDA designated food deserts, with 300 garden beds for rent for the season. And it's a $30 donation for a plot. Rachel Trobow and Cindy Fawcett are 2 of our board members that are here this morning. So what? Why is this important? Why is our organization important? You know, in areas of the city where the availability of fresh food is scarce, at a time where food prices are rising dramatically, and where we know there's the potential for disruption of supply chains. I think before COVID, none of us realized that we could go to a grocery store and see empty shelves. But now we know that that's a very distinct possibility. This is always looming over our head. And so we feel that in times like this, and in normal times as well, we provide people with the space, the knowledge, the tools, and the resources so that anyone in Racine who wants to can grow their own food. And this is very empowering, just like the Victory Gardens of World War II, that people can maybe not feed themselves all year round, but at least offset some of the food prices and have fresh food available. In many neighborhoods in our city, it's cheaper to feed your family at the McDonald's dollar menu than it is to be able to get fresh food for your family. We also have a program that it's sort of a program where we waive plot fees for families who are low income and might not be able to pay for their own plots. And then we also do other outreach things. We have workshops for adult education for things like organic gardening, for food processing, for food preservation, as well as other things. And we're starting to work with other community groups to do children's education in our gardens as well. And so, you know, your financial support will really help us in our mission, and then in also a lot of these outreach programs. So we are going to be downstairs during coffee hour. We have a lot more to tell you about Rugen, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. Please come visit us. We have seeds to give away, and we have plant cuttings and lots of great materials. So thank you.
So 30 years ago today, it was Good Friday. I'd always had a strange relationship with Good Friday and its dark imagery because of my Catholic upbringing. I remember Stations of the Cross, where we were graphically reminded of the story of Christ's crucifixion. All the flowers were removed from the church, and the statuary was all covered with black fabric. I remember the whole city was shut down between noon and 3. This particular Good Friday, we were at Children's Hospital. Our 3-year-old was in a coma after a simple surgery. He'd been flight for life on a Wednesday. He was on a ventilator at the time. I don't know if you've ever been with someone on a ventilator, and this was 30 years ago. I don't know if it's the same now, but it's not quiet like it is on TV. It was very, and there was a little light that went on, and it said, controlled, controlled, controlled. And after about a day of that, it would say controlled, assisted, controlled, controlled, assisted, controlled. And then after about half a day of that, it would say controlled, assisted, spontaneous, assisted, controlled. And on Good Friday, he started to come out of the coma. Spontaneous. Spontaneous. The child in the room next door was a 17-year-old boy who had hit his head in a fall after a fight at his high school. His large Hispanic family filled the hallway in the ICU at Children's. As our child began to show signs of returning to life, the boy in the room next door died. I can still hear the screaming and wailing of his mother and their large family. Earlier, even though we did not share a language, we had shared a moment of mother's love and hope for our sons. I offered her my condolences, even as my gratitude for my child's life fought with all of the uncertainties of his injured brain. Once he was extubated and breathing again, we were moved away from the ICU. A medical professional told us, worst case scenario, his brain can swell anytime in the next 10 days and he will die. Best case scenario, he may not grow up to be a rocket scientist. He may just be a doctor. 2 days later on Easter Sunday, at about 10:15, or right about when joys and concerns would be, I felt the most physical and visceral sense of peace and presence come over me. I've never felt anything like it before or since. Our UU congregation was part of our child's recovery in 1,000 ways since the day that Reverend Annie Holmes met us at Children's Hospital when the Flight for Life helicopter saved our child. There are many kinds of resurrection. I found this next story on Braver, Wiser, which is put out on Wednesdays by the Reverend Erica Hewitt. She says, I heard this story on NPR, This American Life, Kids Logic episode. I found it quite thought-provoking and pretty mind-blowing. Hope you do too. It all began on Christmas 2 years ago when my daughter was 4 years old. And it was the first time she'd ever asked about what did this holiday mean. And so I explained to her that this was celebrating the birth of Jesus. And she wanted to know more about that. We went out and bought a kid's Bible and had those readings at night. She loved him, wanted to know everything about Jesus. So we read a lot about his birth and his teaching, and she would ask constantly what that phrase was. And I would explain to her that it was, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." And we would talk about what those old words and what they all meant. And then one day we were driving past a big church, and out in front was an enormous crucifix. She said, "Who's that?" And I guess I'd never really told her that part of the story. So I had to sort of, that's Jesus. I forgot to tell you the ending. Well, he ran afoul of the Roman government. This message that he had was so radical and unnerving to the prevailing authorities of the time that they had to kill him. They came to the conclusion that he would have to die. That message was too troublesome. It was about a month later, after that Christmas, we'd gone through the whole story of what Christmas meant. And it was mid-January, and our preschool celebrates the same holidays as the local schools. So Martin Luther King Day was off. I knocked off work that day, and I decided we'd play and I'd take her out to lunch. We were sitting in there. Right on the table where we happened to plop down was the art section of the local newspaper. And there, big as life, was a This is the day that we celebrate. And I said, yeah, actually he was. But there was another thing that he was really famous for, which is that he had a message. And you're trying to say this to a 4-year-old, and this is the first time they ever hear anything. So you're just very careful about how you phrase everything. So I said, well, yeah, he was a preacher, and he had a message. And she said, what was his message? I said, well, he said that you should treat everybody the same, no matter what they look like. She thought about that for a minute, and she said, well, that's what Jesus said. And I said, yeah, I guess it is. I never thought of it that way, but yeah. And it's sort of like, do unto others what you would have them do unto you. And she thought for a minute and looked up at me and said, did they kill him too? There are many kinds of resurrection. Let us seek and recognize rebirth and renewal in all its forms, both this Easter morning and all of our days. Amen, and blessed be. Please rise in body or in spirit as you are able, and join me in singing hymn number 121, we'll build a land.
Extinguish the chalice. Thank you.
As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its smoke with us into the streets, into the places where holiness is hard to see, but always waiting to be noticed. Let us go with eyes open for wonder in the worn out, with reverence for each passerby, and with the knowing that the sacred does not hide from the world, it lives in it. Go now, not to escape the brokenness, but to journey beside it, and sometimes to bless it. Let us go out into the world singing. Let us go out into the world singing songs that proclaim liberty, songs that turn ashes into garlands, songs that bind up the afflicted and those who mourn, songs that, like oaks, have roots that go deep and stand strong. Let us go out into the world singing. We know these songs. They vibrate through time in our very souls. They are the songs that give us life. They are the songs that give us meaning. They are the songs that give us purpose. Now it is our turn to take these life-giving songs out into the world. Let us go now, singing these songs with voices deep and strong. And may the world join us in praise and in celebration and in love. Amen.
I'm Gregory Mason. It's time for some announcements. We'll start with Bill Garvey on a ministerial search update, and then we'll hear from Dave Pusely on offertory outreach.
Good morning. I'm Bill Garvey, co-president on the Board of Trustees, and let me apologize in advance for reading to you, but I wrote this up because I wanted to be thorough and not just give you a little update, but give you some background too. So if you may have noticed in the unifier that we did not get a match in this last round. So some details here. First, let me give you a reminder, a framework of the search pools. There's basically four. The settled minister, which we did when we ended up with Reverend Danielle. There's the interim, we're familiar with that. Developmental, that's where we've been, looking for a developmental minister. And then there's the open contract pool. So just basically those four things. So last week our search team was informed that the minister applicant they have been interviewing will be accepting an offer from a different church. And this brings us to the next cycle of search, which begins immediately. But let's pause to consider some realities. There are some fundamental reasons why it's been a struggle to find a match with a developmental minister. Along the way, we've learned that the dynamics and the makeup of the various minister search pools have changed, and not surprisingly, COVID seems to be a point of demarcation, and there are post-COVID trends that continue to evolve. This is a second COVID reference for the day, and I've thought of when Donna Delmar, is it? When she was speaking for Rugen, it was kind of triggering having the image of empty shelves in the stores. But on the upside, it was at that point that my wife came to realize why, after all those years, I'd been hoarding toilet paper. So these post-COVID trends continue to evolve. First, the number of ministers looking for settled ministry has gotten smaller, and the number of trained ministers in the developmental pool has gotten smaller still. Proof of this is in the pudding. In the last 2 cycles of search, our team has had exactly 1 minister in each cycle that they've interviewed. So if that minister is interviewing with us, plus 2 or more churches, the odds of finding a match go down very quickly. The other trend among ministers in search is that the interim and the open contract pools have leveled or have grown. A significant change in the UUA search policy is that the transition office is now supporting the open contract pool. This means that now there's a system in place to help potential contract ministers and churches like Olympia Brown find each other. Other factors that we cannot control, a growing number of ministers in search regarding geographic location, a growing number of ministers in search regard geographic location at or near the top of their considerations as they look for a church. This may be simply about the need for proximity to family, or it may be about, or perceptions about, issues around security, safety, and a welcoming community for their immediate families. And we can argue how progressive Wisconsin is, but for a minister in search, their perception is the reality. Wisconsin, located in the upper Midwest, is not necessarily a preferred geographic location for ministers in search. Relatively speaking, there's not an exceptionally large UU presence in the state, as you might find in regions like the Mid-Atlantic or Northeast, or in other more populated urban areas. And these are facts that present a challenge for us. I would argue that cost of living is friendlier here, so I'm sure that gets discussed. But do not despair. It's important to understand that we are not sitting out here all alone being unloved. Multiple discussions have occurred among the search team and our board presidents, with the UUA Transition Office, our contact at the Mid-America region, Reverend Matthew Johnson, who, by the way, will be our guest minister May 17th. So we have and we feel the support and the partnership with these key people. They tell us our search profile, viewed by ministers in search, is strong, it's complete, and honest. While we consider ways to augment our search profile to make it stronger and clearer, and perhaps provide more information about the Racine community, no major changes are being recommended until today. We'll have to review the intellectualist aspects of our search profile. So, as Yogi Berra instructs us, when you reach the fork in your road, take it. So, which road do we take? The answer is yes. To increase the number of ministers in search that will see that we are here, and to assure they have access to our search profile, we can remain listed in the developmental minister pool, as well as be added to the interim and the open contract search pools. We've been reminded that a contract minister or an interim minister can work on our developmental goals and needs as well. An advantage of the open contract search is that an offer and agreement with a minister can be made at will, which means we would not be bound by the calendar cycles of developmental or interim search. A contract minister can be brought in at any time during the year. It is our understanding that ministers don't find themselves or land in the open contract pool, which may have been more accurate in the past, but more often move into that pool these days intentionally, meaning that the talent and the quality of potential contract ministers has improved. And again, the UUA is recognizing this. So these are strong reasons why we feel optimistic as we continue into this next phase of ministerial search. And in conclusion, we need to recognize our search team, Mary Graham, Christina Mondragon, Dave Wilkinson, and Stephen Lyon, for their commitment and the good work during search. One moment. Yeah, appreciate that, because we're going to do this specially too. So, a special recognition to Mary Graham, who is the remaining member of the original search team, created when Reverend Danielle resigned. And after 6 cycles of search, Mary is standing down. So Mary, a huge thank you for your service from all of Olympia Brown UU Church. Thank you.
A couple of quick things from offertory outreach. Thank you, Donna, for the presentation today. And the committee wants to thank the congregation for its generosity. Over the last year, we have contributed more than $12,000 to worthy organizations. Offertory outreach is a wonderful way for us to partner with the community and share our generosity beyond these 4 walls. We have recipients scheduled through August, and now is the time to actively seek applications for the next cycle. The application cutoff date is June 30th. A link to the application is available in today's Sunday reminder and also on the OBUUC website. If you have organizations in mind, please have them apply. If you have questions, please contact any Offertory Outreach Committee member, me, Carol, Mary Beth Zolke, or Naoki. Also, let's give a big thank you to Jane Steffens and Jerry Slavic for years of dedicated service to the Offertory Outreach Committee. Jane's here. So, we are looking for 2 additional members to the committee. Offertory Outreach is a worthwhile committee, and we don't have too many meetings, so please contact me if interested. We can use your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill and Dave. If you ordered flowers for the sanctuary, you may take a plant home with you after the service. Brenda, our congregational administrator, will be out of the office from April 6th to the 10th. Emergencies should be directed to Bill Garvey or Suzanne Landis, our board co-presidents. The next deadline for paper raise right orders is April 19th. If you need a form, see me. Bring your Love Pantry donations to church on Sunday mornings. Our middle school and high school youth will use them to fill the pantry next Sunday. Normally they do it on the first Sunday, but because it's Easter, they're going to do it next Sunday. So bring your offerings. Sunday, April 19th, there will be an all-ages spring brunch after the service. This will be hosted by the RE committee. If you need to reference the monthly unifier email, there is a link in each Sunday's email that will take you to it. Be sure to check your monthly and weekly emails for more information on some of these announcements, along with community events and other news that are not announced here in church. Thank you to our volunteers today, our ushers, Sandy Berezowitz and Brana Woolman, our Zoom host, Patty Riemann, and our cell phone monitor and helper on the camera, Jen Simpkins. That's all for announcements. Although we are not having coffee hour in Erman Hall, all are invited to go downstairs to the dining room to learn more about Racine Urban Garden Network, and as Donna mentioned, I think you said you had cuttings and plants. So for those that are on YouTube, log into Zoom for your coffee hour. The link is in today's email.